Okay, good morning, everybody. This is Andrew Han here on FX Street. You're joining our Trade with Your UFO session, Nailing FX in the US session, start of the US session here. We're already half an hour in to the trading day, and we have made new highs in the S&P and seem to be continuing to do so. And it is the 29th of April, Thursday, 29th of April, at the end of the month. A month goes by pretty fast around here, doesn't it? And just before we get into all of that, there's just a little bit of a disclaimer to scroll through and read at the top here, so please do so. As we just highlight the tradewithufos.com website that we have here, and if you put a /Andrew after that, you'll take you to a subscription page where you can sign up for free membership to Trade with UFOs, where you will have a daily news flash newsletter come to you. And if you're not able to have a chance to read that when you're commuting off to work, you can always listen and watch the daily briefing of this news flash on YouTube. So actually, why don't I jump over to that now? Right over here. Okay, if I just go to our web page here. Okay, this is where you can actually join us. Just click on agree and join right here. And that will take you to this splash page, right? We can just and just basically sign up, okay? Or if you want to go to a quicker route, just type in Andrew here, and it will take you to, if we can get there, where you can just put your name, email address, and you'll be able to get that email sent to you, right? If you want any coaching, you can just meet up with me as well. And once you do sign up for your membership, you're able to ask any sort of questions you want. And of course, there are some answers there, but a lot of the time, people, send me an email directly, and I'll get back to you directly to the email address that I had on the front page there, andrew@tradewithufos.com. Okay. Now, of course, if you're looking for the sessions that we're going to have coming up, if you go to live trading at the top here, you click on calendar, and that'll take you to our calendar of sessions where not only are you able to listen to me on the Forex side, we also have Becky and Boyan as well, here on FX Street. We also have other sessions that we do, not always on FX Street, just on YouTube. If you want to find us on YouTube, you're able to find us there. And if you're interested in any other products in any of the markets, the futures markets, the options market, the stock market, right? Becky does those. And on the weekend, we also have those sessions called what we call sharpening, where we're not trading live markets, but we are talking about more trade-related matters. Okay, and so for May, since we're at the end of April, you can take a look at the calendar for May. And these are the sessions that we're doing. I'm not going to be doing FX Street sessions next month. And so what you can do is find me on YouTube. So those sessions are recorded. So if you can't attend it live, you can find us, on YouTube. Okay. So these times, are reflected on the US time, and so feel free to find us out there. Okay. So YouTube, let me just go to YouTube and let's just do trade with UFOs. Let's see if we can put that all in one shot there. There we are, trade with UFOs. And what you can do there is click on the subscribe button, and you'll be able to hear us, and as well as the market commentary. So here's the market commentary that is done basically every day. That you can find them out there, and that's always a very useful thing, especially if you're not able to get to your email, or you're not able to hear us on radio, so but you can find us on YouTube. Okay. All right. So with that, let's jump into seeing what's going on in the markets. So we've had a lot of news come out. The kind of the Fed held rates, and essentially, we've got coming up tomorrow a lot of different sort of news, not personal income, related to the US Purchase Managers Index. Everything seems to be, kind of positive in a way. We're not really seeing too much negative news come out, despite all that's going on with COVID. And if we look at what's coming up next week, it's going to be, running into, ISM manufacturing index, but I think everybody is also going to be focused on, non-farm payrolls, as it shows up every Friday of the first week of every month. So that number, it's going to be of interest, I guess. It's kind of getting into the new administration's, a few months into the newest administration, right? And so it'll be interesting to see how that starts to kind of play out as we get deeper into the year, and how unemployment numbers show up, and not just in the US but around the world. It kind of seems to be stabilizing, but how is that going to affect interest rates, going forward, inflation, all that sort of stuff? We will see. We will see. The COVID situation obviously is not done yet, and so is there more money printing ahead? That's going to be the big question. But as traders, especially on the currency markets, the at the end of the day, it's price that tells us what goes on, right? So last time, when we came, right, we were kind of moving in this uptrend, right? And I drew this retracement line here, just kind of get a sense of, okay, if price comes down, where is it going to be a shallow retracement to this prior pivot here? Is it going to be deeper retracement, maybe a 61 as it did here? But it looks like we're going even deeper, right? And may end up hitting this trend line, for a third hit. So it doesn't seem like this weakness in the dollar is over yet. But having said that, yes, we've cleared this low, but really until we clear this low, we're going to find ourselves still, in a bit of an uptrend here, despite this strong move down to this level here. So again, if we just turn on the auto UFOs, it kind of tells us, that we are coming into an area where we can expect some buying interest to kind of come in to the dollar. And we've seen a little bit of that response today, but I don't think it's over yet. I think we still have some opportunity for price for dollar weakness to come in. Maybe tomorrow it will turn lower, or later today it'll turn lower, and I'd like to see it kind of hit this trend line for a bounce before heading up. But as you know, the UFOs are kind of telling us, we do have an area where there is buying interest. So not surprised that that dollar is responding near that area. You know, it's the 90-50 area, and so probably expect some sort of response. But whether that is going to be enough to turn price, we're still in a climate of selling. So that's what auto climate is telling us. We've been in this climate for quite a while, but still, you know, if it's still raining, you still got to bring that umbrella out. Okay, so this is the thing that we want to keep in mind is the overall environment that we're in, and so until we see a, a true move, right, to the upside, then you know, with so we've got lower lows here, we've got lower highs here. So until we start to see that that change in price action to the upside, um, you know, we've just got to respect this move lower. Okay, so that's the dollar there. We do have some areas of supply, you know, selling orders up the top here, right? So that's something that we've got to keep in mind. This kind of area up at 41, say 41.50, and so again, that 50, you know, is a you know, going to be an area where we probably expect some sort of resistance to come into play. So this is kind of what I'm looking at here, is a move down to the downside, and you know, some sort of move to the upside that gives us an indication that we're going to have you know, so at least some move back up to the upside. Is it going to clear this 43, 44 level? Maybe not, but we may see some sort of corrective move. Since we've got this strong impulse move to the downside, I would think that we should have some sort of corrective move, and then maybe another impulse down to lower levels. We'll see. We'll see what happens there. Okay, but that's kind of the outlook on dollar. It's probably good at this point in time just to take a look at what's going on with the flavor of the year, which is Bitcoin. We had a bit of a rally to the upside, and then we had a pause here in Bitcoin. So it's just Bitcoin futures, and with the you know, this downward sort of move, you know, kind of fell in line with what we were seeing on the dollar, right? So dollar fell, has come up a little now. Bitcoin has kind of come up a little now, but still no strong, no resumption of this strong correlation to equities, which is what we've also been seeing quite strongly. So if I just type in here, you know, the S&P 500, right? Let's go for one of these indexes, or let's say this. Let's see if we can get a CFD up here. Let's just pick this one here. Okay. So here we do see that prices moved up, and also reaching some new highs here, but along with Bitcoin and the dollar. So the dollar has been, not correlating to to the S&P at all. Right. So if we just go back to that one, okay, let's go back to here. All right, it's not being. Just copy that, add it here. Add it to the markets here just so we can make for easier reference, right? And also to gold, right? So gold has been on a little bit of a tear, but all of these, different correlations, these different moves, how they interact with each other is something that, I kind of talk about in this Bitcoin market commentary that I do for the ICE exchange. So if you want to click that link, or take note of that link, I do this commentary where actually I do talk about, these and comment on these correlations, right? And so, and also highlight the areas where we expect some support to come in, some resistance to come in, and things like that. So do subscribe to that, because these correlations, they don't always remain, and so that's the other thing that you need to keep in mind is that yes, at times the correlations do are positive, right? In the case of Bitcoin, dollar normally has been negatively correlated to Bitcoin, whereas it's been more positively correlated to the equities markets, but it has detached itself, right? It was moving lower when the S&P kind of was staying up higher, or was not kind of reacting, wasn't following Bitcoin, or vice versa. The Bitcoin wasn't following the equity market. So this whole idea of correlations, you kind of need to understand that they don't always move together. They don't always stay negatively correlated, or they don't always stay positively correlated all the time. But it is something that you need to just be aware of, right? So, and just keep in mind as you're kind of analyzing the markets and just trying to understand, what's going on in the markets, right? So gold has, you know, so with dollar kind of moving up slightly, we do see gold coming off quite sharply, and so there's all these different sort of views of the inverse nature of dollar and gold. But again, there's going to be times when they don't that they move negatively to each other. There's going to be times where they move positively to each other, right? But I think the way to look at a lot of this is around money flow, right? So so people moving money into dollars, well, where does it have to go from that point, right? It either goes into the equity markets, it goes into the bond markets, or it goes into real estate, or it goes into gold, or it goes into even into Bitcoin, you know. And so where is because they would need to put it somewhere, right? Or it needs to just stay in cash, which more than likely they're going to put into a very low yielding money market fund, right? So you gotta it's helpful to think about these things, but don't let that necessarily influence. It provides you a bit of perspective, a bit of context for what's going on in the markets, but they may not necessarily explain, specifically, so that the cause and effect is not necessarily discernible, right? At the end of the day, it's price, right? Gold is fact is gold is moving down, right? Is it because of the dollar? Is it because of the equity markets? Is it because of COVID? Is it because of what? Is it inflation? What is it, right? Um, in some ways, it doesn't really matter because the fact is that it's moving lower, and the question is, are you going to be a seller of it or are you going to be a buyer of it, right? So this is where, auto climate is currently telling us, well, okay, even though price is moving lower, we are still in an environment where we can look for longs, right? And so if you are looking at this and saying, well, yes, we are we in an uptrend? Well, yes, we are, right? We are still in an uptrend, right? Has price kind of broken down below that trend line? Yes, it has. So is it possible that the trend is over? Um, it is possible. But then again, where are you wanting to, in this case, buy gold, right? So this is where auto UFOs kind of comes in, and if you want to identify those areas to get into with a little bit more detail, then you can go to a lower sort of time frame to identify, where if you were a longer term trader looking for opportunities to come along and you're waiting for price to come down to this level 17, call it 1720, then you would say use a 12-hour time frame, or a lot of people use a 4-hour time frame, right, to identify those areas at which they're willing to buy gold at, right? And so because the algorithm, it you know it doesn't care who you are, right? As long as you it doesn't care what market it is, right? As long as it's able to analyze, prices, right, as its input, then it will identify for you, and same for me, right? These areas, right? If we're using the same data feed, of course, um, it will identify these areas in the same location, right? And repetitively. So whether you're tired, right, or whether you're um, you know had a bad day, right? The algorithm it will tell you, right, where those areas are. It's not going to you know, it's not going to be subjective, right? It's going to be objective. And that's not to say that you should trade, make a trading decision when you're tired, or make a trading decision when you're not feeling very well, or in a bad mood. But the algorithm, you know, it's just going to do its job, right? So so for gold, if you're more of a again, more of a swing trader, maybe you're going a little bit more intraday, then this could be an area that you may be interested in buying gold, right? As it comes to these areas where we expect other buyers to come into the market, right? So so if you want a shorter term, if you have a shorter term, intraday or intra-week sort of trading strategy, then you can use auto UFOs at this lower time frame, so that you're able to get into the market a little sooner. Maybe you got to do your let's say a 2-to-1 sort of trade. So for example, if you're going to go long here in gold at this area, right, and you just want a you know, uh, 2-to-1 sort of trade, okay? And so you may consider buying in at this point, right? So let's put an order in. Visual order, no. better put this. I think I've got to join my paper money. That's what I got to do. There we go. Yeah. Yes, there we go. Create a limit order. Okay, so I want to, let's get in at 52. We are going to get out at maybe a little lower than that. Let's call it 1740. And I still want to take my profits at 2 to 1. Let's see, I may need to get to 75, 75. Try that a little closer to that. Okay, and if I want to risk $100, then I just buy 8 units. Okay, so 2 to 1, that's close enough. So then I just buy 8 units of that. Right. Because that's my stop loss, because it's a little lower there. It's a little higher there. Okay, so it's about there. Okay, so that's what I'm looking at doing. So how long will that take? We don't know. But that's how you would plan your trade, right? And it's easy and straightforward as that. Okay, so that's gold. It's gold, a little bit of a a break in that trend line. But if if we really want to wait for price to come down to this lower area right here, then we've got I can place another opportunity, right? So get stopped out here. Then maybe what we do is look to buy it down at this point, right? So again, let's say you just want a one-to-one at this point. You can easily plan out your trades that way, right? And so we already know, right, as we talked about, that if you are looking at this from a bigger perspective, right, that you've got an uptrend. That uptrend really doesn't really break until you break this low here, right? So it's an assumption that you have to take, right? But it is possible that price will come back here and then head up back this way, right? Can it go lower? Yes, it can go lower, right? But the same point, right? It could be just a triple bottom, right? Until price breaks here, and then maybe we've got to then you clearly have to reconsider whether you have an uptrend continuing, which is more than unlikely if you've broken these two lows here. Okay, so a good way to plan out various scenarios and go down here and then up, right? Or it could come here, right? Or it could just break it, right? And head down here, right? Who knows? But currently what we're seeing is a potential here for price to despite breaking this uptrend line, okay, which I'll just remove. We see price come down to this this area around 1750, and we can plan a trade accordingly like that. Let's move to Aussie. So what's Aussie been doing? So again, big picture, right? Big picture, we still are in this overall sort of move to the upside, but we've turned a little bit more, in a sideways move, right? So it's not really a head and shoulders because we didn't break to the downside. We can kind of moving up here. This is a prior area of of resistance up here, right? So we could see a little bit of a spike here in the Aussie, but it's kind of moving lower. So again, you know, if we look at things from a, you know, put a little bit of a trend line here, right, to kind of guide our eyes a little. You know, we're really not seeing a lot of conviction here, right? It's a, we've got this move up, but no conviction to the upside or to the downside. So Aussie's not really too much fun to trade at the moment. It's kind of like this area here is very, very choppy and messy. So that whole area, kind of see this pricing area has not been a very fun place to trade, right? And so really, there's not too much interest in trading around this area. The good areas to really consider trading is back down here. It's going to move some of these lower time frame levels so that we can get a bit of a clearer picture here. Okay, I'm going to remove this one here as well. Okay, so kind of keeping it clean. We've got this movement to the upside, but really not interested in buying if you're a longer term player until down here. Is it going to be too much fun playing at a lower time frame at these areas? We do have some kind of areas down here to potentially be buying at, and really that would be based on the fact that you're looking at a sidewards movement, right? But again, the fact is that if price doesn't if it doesn't break this area, right, then we can it's it, it wouldn't be wrong, right, to assume that price is going to move in some sort of sideways action, right? Because we're not getting any any conviction to the upside or to the downside for that matter. So until we get that, you know, it doesn't really make sense to trade any sort of direction. So you would potentially consider trading, you know, only if price kind of probably break these highs, right? So unless they broke the highs, you just want to, I guess, trade that range, you know, and I guess more specifically trade the zones that form make a little bit more sense, right? But if you did want to put stops, right, you know, above this sort of area, you can do that as well. You're just you know, still risk the same dollar amount, but you're just you know, to kind of give it a little bit more room to move, but you're still risking yeah, it's just your position size that changes, right? Not your dollar risk. Okay, so with Aussie kind of moving to the downside here, yeah, nothing too much to really do there. I'm just gonna refine this a little. All right, so still have this uptrend intact, but even if it does break, we have these lows here that we would still need to break, right? If we're going to have any sort of change in or a breakout to the downside or to the upside. So again, you know, it's not give any clear direction whatsoever. Okay, so that's Aussie, more of a sideways type of move. Let's put that there like that. Okay. I would also probably just highlight this area to you all. I'm going to move this line up here. So it is possible that these areas could also hold. So I'm just going to go like that, just so that, you know, kind of gives you a little bit more of a visual around, where the possibilities are, right, for how price could move. Yeah, I'm just going to go from there. Okay, so until we get a break up above here, we're not going to go higher. Until we get a breakdown here, we're not really going to go lower. So always just trade the range. Looks like the euro. Let's see what's going on with the euro again. It's done this, not a bad little move to the upside. All right, so again, just to guide our eyes, right? Just go from these kind of pivots here. And so we're clearly in some sort of uptrend, right? It's on the hourly. Let me just go to the daily just to give us that picture. And if you did have some sort of trend line over here, that was really broken there, right? So so we really just have to respect this upwards move. We do have this pivot here where price, this prior high, right? So it's cleared all these highs. This is a prior high, and so until it kind of breaks that high, and then until it breaks, this 123 level, we're not really going to see a continuation, right, of this upwards, this overall upward move. We are again kind of going a little, potentially could be, going sideways, right? As we move along this uptrend line. Even if we got up here, we're still potentially just a sideways sort of move, right? Until really you could have this sort of thing going on for a while, right? So until we break these prior lows or break these prior highs, we're not going to really get any sort of movement, and that's kind of what we saw here too, right? We saw quite a bit of uh, ding donging, right, up and down, a bit lower, nothing definitive, right? And then it broke higher, right? Then it actually did something, but until we really saw you know that sort of move, right? Um, it just went sideways. It kind of messed around with people a lot, you know. Right? I mean, this was not a fun area to trade, so this is what you want to trade, right? You want to see those sorts of moves, that sort of move. Yes, it had a little bit of a zigzag, right? But essentially, it was moving up and down in some nice definitive waves there, right? Okay, so euro really just have to take it to the upside. If we're looking at pound, similar sort of choppiness. Not a lot of fun. You know, I mean, you have some strong moves, but you know, unless you're going down to these lower time frames, there's a lot of uh, you know, there's no clear direction like we had here, right? Like we had here. Here's a bit, at least here there was there's a move to the upside. But here there's no clear direction. And so this is also where we just wait for those opportunities. It's tested up here, for a number of times, and so for pound, given that it is moving higher, right? We could consider this sort of movement along the range, right? Until it breaks either side, right? And even then, we've got these lows here that we still need to deal with if we're going to have any real clear direction in either the upside or to the downside. So okay, all right. So that's what we have for the pound. Let's just go to the CAD actually, because we have had quite a strong move in the CAD. And so here, really what we want to be looking at is remaining, to the downside, focus on the downside. We have had quite a strong move. It's quite a strong move down to the downside. So if we do get a little bit of a retracement, let's turn on the UFOs here. Okay, so we've got a couple of areas here that we can look at. Or the nearest one is here, and so that would be an area that we could consider where price, if we're able to get a retracement back up to this area, and with the expectation that price will continue lower. Okay. And so again, if you want to set up that sort of trade, you can go short. Again, if you want a 2-to-1 to the situation, do this. Red limit order. And maybe give it a 50 pip risk there, make 100. And risk $100. Okay. So this is a retracement trade. Okay, that you can put in there. Right. So, and that's with the expectation that you're going to get some sort of continuation of this move, right, to the downside. Okay. All right. Well, I'm just going to finish off, the markets from there. So we looked at CAD, right, pound, euro, Aussie gold, dollar index. We also looked at Bitcoin, right? But still, yeah, I mean, you just got to continue to expect price to move in the direction that it's moving. If there is some sort of retracement, then take advantage of that. If not, then take a breakout trade to the downside. It's going to continue to let price slide the way that it's moving it. Don't fight it. All right. Okay, so just to end off, we are at the end of April. We are looking into May, and I'll give you an update of what's coming up in May. But we do have cryptos coming up soon in terms of a course, and we have some exciting news coming soon around MT5 and our technologies that are coming and being released on MT5. And so again, please subscribe to our commentary on Bitcoin that we put out every week, and of course, tradewithufos.com/Andrew for free membership. All right, that's all I have for you all today. Do take care and trade safe. All right, thanks very much, and thank you FX Street for hosting Trade with UFOs today on your channel. Okay, take care. Bye bye.